This here's from the New York Post. Prince Harry regrets his role in family rift. Royal author says, wishes he'd done things differently. Yeah, we know. Let's see what we got. Prince Harry's feeling regretful over the role he played in widening the ongoing royal rift with a prominent royal author, claiming he wishes that he'd done things differently. The Duke of Sussex has been embroiled in a years-long feud with the Windsor clan ever since he and his wife, Meghan Markle, took the plunge and hightailed across the pond to the US. Gotta wonder why. Who do you think wanted to do that? Since setting up camp in Montecito, California in 2020, the Sussexes have only returned to the UK a handful of times, underscoring just how distant both camps have become. According to royal author Duncan Larcombe, the spare author wishes he'd acted differently when things began to go awry. And you know what? A lot of people do actually. And they quote the author here, Harry is a sensitive soul and always wore his heart on his sleeve, so whether he'd admit it publicly or not, I'm sure he's full of regrets and wishes he'd done things differently, Larcombe told OK Magazine. With Troop in the Color and Father's Day falling on the same weekend, it was bound to make him look back at the happy relationships he once had with his brother and dad, and I'm sure he'd love to be able to rebuild those, added Larcombe, author of Prince Harry, The Inside Story. After he and the Suits alum, 43, quit royal life, their taxpayer-funded UK security was yanked along with it. I guess it's easy looking from the outside, being like, Harry had so many choices of women. Why would he pick someone with so many red flags? And usually, on the average, men are with women younger, and she's like 3 years older. So I guess it's just one of those mysteries of the universe. But I can't completely let him off the hook. He's a big boy, and he did have a lot of options. As a result, the Incubus Games founder is reluctant to ever return to his home soil, having previously highlighted his frustration at no longer boasting full police protection, for which he lost his appeal earlier this year. After losing the appeal for police protection, the Duke said he couldn't see a world in which he and Mark will be able to bring their son, Prince Archie, and daughter to the UK. By saying he can't bring them here because of the court ruling, Harry has nailed his colors to the mast, Larcombe told the outlet. Yeah, when you think about it, it's pretty darn sad. I cover this all the time, and, I don't really think so deeply about it. I pass along the news, but if you can't even see your grandkids because your grandson doesn't want to come to the country, that's pretty bad. Meghan is probably quite reluctant to come to the UK anyway because they'd have to be deaf, dumb, and blind not to realize just how much criticism they've had for their betrayals and truth bombs. But more importantly, there are real, genuine threats, of course. The royal expert insists that the threats the Sussexes have received were most likely from lunatics and radical protesters. At big royal events, the security you actually see is the tip of the iceberg, he went on. There are lots of undercover officers and agents working too. Without the official support and security, Harry and Meghan are left with 2 or 3 bodyguards who are pretty blind to what the potential threats are, the author added. They say they reached out to Meghan and Harry for comment. Of course, they're not going to get it, ever. They say that Harry is extending an olive branch to his estranged father and brother. But, it should be an apology. But, what's that going to do? What does that mean? Everything's already out there. The best he could do is divorce Meghan, but then I think she'd probably get some money. I'm not sure how much. They have their own great lawyers and things, and they could probably, whittle it down the best they can, but she'd still get some money, and that would still suck pretty much for them. For no reason, they just lose millions and millions and millions. And they say Harry's going to invite his estranged family members to the 2027 Incubus Games and bring him in the hope of a royal reconciliation. I don't think so. I just can't see it happening. Harry is believed to have already approved the royal guest list and the wording on the invitations. The games will be in July in 2027. Can't wait. That's going to come quick. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. If you're not subscribed here, consider it. If you don't, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.